Hi, welcome to Jovie's home. I post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 7 things that you should bring with you if you are moving to the Netherlands. Although I think this would be applicable to if you are moving from one country to another generally. And then also 3 things that you should just leave behind. So if that sounds good to you, then why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. All right, you guys, before we get into my list, I would like to ask you please to go ahead and click the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to our channel already. Dan and I are very appreciative of each and every one of you. When you're finished watching the video, if you liked it, give us a thumbs up. That also helps us out a lot because then YouTube knows that you guys are into the video and will recommend it to other people too. So if you found it helpful, if you liked it, give us a thumbs up and click subscribe. Thank you so much. Without further ado, let's do this. Okay, you guys, so this question comes up so much in the forums that I'm in and in the, speaking with expats and speaking with people coming in. What do you bring? What do you miss from home? What do you wish that you had? The first thing that I should say is that the easiest way to get accustomed to living in a place is to just live like the locals. And that is something that I had to learn really the hard way. It took me 5 years to get from let go of the things that I was expecting or wanting from the States. And it did not do me any favors to be sitting here being like, I wish that I had that. And I wish that they sold this. Like, that just made me an unhappy person. So that is not the kind of person I want to be. I don't want to focus on the negative. I really want to focus on the positives. So by just letting go of those expectations, it really helped me to start enjoying my life here more. So that said, there are still some things that I bring back every time I travel and things that I would recommend to other people to bring. So let's get into those things now. The number one thing, and if you bring nothing else, bring this. That is over-the-counter medicines that you like and use. There's medicine in the Netherlands. The healthcare system is fine. It's okay. You can get medicine here. But there is nothing like having a sick kid, spiking a fever in the middle of the night, and now you have to look at medication that is like the instructions for its use are in a foreign language that you need to learn. Oh my gosh, or Google Translate or do whatever. That is a stress you don't need. Bring some medication, especially for your kids, like for their flu or for their cold, cough syrup, runny noses. Bring it with the instructions in your language. That will make your life a whole lot easier, I promise. And while we're on the subject of medications, know that in the Netherlands, they don't really do like cough and cold decongestant type of medication. There are some things, but there's nothing like a Tylenol sinus or Advil cough and cold. They don't do those kind of decongestant pills that we are used to having access to sometimes. So here you'll often just get regular old paracetamol, which if you're coming from the States, it's the equivalent to Tylenol. It's acetaminophen. But the thing that will help unblock your nose or the thing that will help soothe your cough in a tablet doesn't exist here. So. My buddy Vinny, always in the back, always in the background. He's having a little bit of a sneezing fit. I'm sorry. Another thing that is like either not as common here to have or the strength. Excuse me, Vinny. So the prescription, like the strength might not be the same as what you're used to. It might be a lower dosage or something. So if you like antihistamines or like cough and cold stuff, as I mentioned already, maybe cough syrup, especially for your kids, they have like better tasting flavors. Another thing is that they don't have things like Neosporin to disinfect wounds. They mostly use like Dettol or iodine or other things like that. But if you are more used to having like a Neosporin with some pain relief, that is tougher to find here. So things like that, bring from home. I also always bring Q-tips. Q-tips here are with a plastic stick. They're not with the cardboard stick. And I'm a Q-tips person. I'm a Q-tips girl. That is my jam. So Q-tips is just like another medical thing that I would always bring from home. So nope, not from home. This is home that I would bring from the States. Okay, moving on. The next thing that I would suggest to bring with you from home is, especially, this is in particular to the Americans, okay? Because I know we love our Mexican food, our Tex-Mex, our like spicy stuff. And it's tough. It's not impossible, but it's tough and pretty expensive to buy some of those things here. Yeah, like just basically bring some of your Tex-Mex spices, like your favorite stuff. One thing that I really love is like that Trader Joe's everything but the bagel seasoning. Of course, that's not available here, and I can't Amazon it. Some things they won't ship. Or even if they did, it would just be stupid expensive to, you know, have a $2 thing of spices and pay $25 of shipping and import fees. Like crazy. No. But things like that. Like if there is something that you really love that is specific, like salt, you're going to find salt here. Pepper, okay. You know, basil, fine. But something very specific, maybe consider bringing that with you. The next thing that I would suggest that you bring is specifically directed to petite people. You will not find many options for petite clothing. In the Netherlands, so if you're petite, treat yourself to an extra big shopping spree and basics that you're gonna need, like jeans or trousers or things like that. Maybe or planning on having a baby or a second baby or whatever, bring zippered footed pajamas. That they have pajamas here. Yes, children here are raised with pajamas. That's not like woo, but there it is impossible. Oh, I should not say that. It is not impossible. Nothing is impossible, but it is very, 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 very difficult and or expensive to find footed zippered pajamas. So shop at Carter's, go to town, buy those, stack up for like the next 2 or 3 years or however long it's going to be before you go back. Make sure you stock up on that because they are amazing and they're not available. Last thing to mention in the clothes category is shoes. And shoes, it's not that there are no shoes here. There are lots and lots of shoes here, but they're expensive. And they are not like what you can get in the States. They are, you know, in the States you can find really quality shoes for really low prices. And here it's not like that. So stock up on, well, comfortable walking shoes, running shoes, boots, rain boots, things like that you're going to be wearing every day. And for women who love to wear stiletto heels, that was me. I had to give up my whole love of stilettos simply because I was walking. I mean, you know, every time you step out of your office or your car, you're going to, you know, walk somewhere. I really struggled with getting my heels caught in between the cobblestones and then scraping my heels completely. So the heels that I wear now are wedges or, you know, a thicker heel, but stilettos, I save those for business trips to other countries where I don't have beautiful, you know, architectural cobblestones. So yeah, that completes the clothing category and shoes. So yeah, these are all must brings with you. Moving on, number 4. Number 4 is, this is in particular if your company or if, you know, somebody is helping you or you're shipping a container. So you are going to be able to bring things that are heavier and bulkier. I do not suggest to put this in your suitcase, but if you are having a container shipped, you might want to consider bringing your like baking dishes or favorite pots and pans. That stuff can also be quite expensive here. Not that you can't get it, because of course you can, but because it's really expensive. And if you already have something like that from home that you love, bring it with you if you can in your shipment. I don't have the experience with this next section, but I've heard it so much in my forums that I'm in and discussions. But they talk about bringing cake decorations. I'm not a cake I mean, I don't do this kind of thing, but I've heard that, you know, if you like specific decorating items or special cake decorations, something to make it really beautiful, that is harder to find here. So bring that from the States. One thing that I have experienced, however, is liquid food coloring. I have not found that yet here. So they have gel, or they have like colored, I don't know, it looks like Play-Doh almost, and then you add that to the food to color it. But it is not a liquid food coloring, which is what I'm used to. So I always bring some liquid food coloring with me for, you know, special things like cakes or whatever that I wanna color. So yep, that's kind of it for that section. So what do you guys think? Hey, can we pause for a sec? What do you guys think of what I'm saying? Can you leave me a comment below? Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have things that you would add to my list or definitely disagree with on my list? Let me know. I'd really like to know. And I'm sure so with the other people who are reading your comments who are planning to move here. They want to know, is Jovie crazy? Like, is she just talking out of her or does she make some sense here? Let us know. 3 more things that you should bring with you. If you have kids and if you have battery operated toys that are speaking to them, you might want to bring that with you. Specifically, if that is a language that is not, I think we can find English toys reasonably easily here, but maybe you're coming from France, or maybe you're coming from Russia, I don't know, wherever you're coming from, and you want to have the toys speaking in your language, it's going to be tough to find those here. So that's always something good to bring. Things like board games, like for me, I mean, you have Monopoly, you have all the games, you have them here, but everything, all the instructions are in Dutch, all of the, you know, the pieces and things that's in Dutch, because we are in the Netherlands and it should be in Dutch, but you know, we're talking about expat life here. So, but if you want to bring something that is, you know, with your own instructions in your own language, games, board games, toys, things like that, that is something good to bring. One thing that I always bring, also whenever I travel to the States, is I hit up my local Hallmark and stock up on pretty stationery. That is not to say that there is no cards here, but the selection is not the same. So I like to buy thank you cards, happy birthday, specifically like anniversary cards for my husband, or Valentine's Day cards. Like, I stock up on that. I'm good for the next like 5 or 6 years, but that's fine. I have all my stationery, my pretty stationery, my musical cards, and all of that stuff. I have that ready to go. So last up, I would say that you should know, especially if you're coming from the US and Canada, Sephora does not exist in the Netherlands. They don't deliver here. They used to, but they do not anymore. So if you are using, you know, like a skincare regimen or some kind of makeup thing that you really, really love, you should know that there's a possibility that it is not available here. So either stock up on your favorite stuff or Google, like, let's say, I don't know, Marc Jacobs. Okay, you want a Marc Jacobs lipstick. Google Marc Jacobs lipstick, Kopen, Nederlands. So Kopen and then Nederlands. That's going to give you a list of places that either sell it, or you're going to realize that it's not sold here. So if it's not sold here, then you know that you should stock up. And if it is sold here, then definitely click on the link and see the price, because maybe it's hugely expensive here, or maybe it's not. So at least you're going to know whether or not your favorite products are available by doing that Google search, and at least you're prepared, because why not? If you're watching this video, you're trying to prepare anyway, I'm assuming, unless you dislike me, and I appreciate that you're watching this video, even if it might not be helpful to you. But yeah, so give it a try. To conclude, 3 things not to bring. First of all, leave any small appliances or any appliances that are not made for dual voltage. Now, I'm not talking about things that don't, you know, like your computer, bring that, because that's you'll be able to with a converter, just use it. But leave your hairdryer, leave your flat iron, leave your handheld mixers, leave your fridge, leave your oven, like all that stuff, just leave it, because there's not going to be any point in you bringing it here, buying 700 converters to have all the things, and then just having your appliances die, because that's what's going to happen. Better that you sell them and then take that money and spend it on new stuff here that is meant for here. Next up, leave your bedding. Unless you are bringing your bed. So if you are shipping your bed, then bring your bedding and bring extra bedding, because the beds here are different size than back home. So, and by back home, again, I'm saying home. It's not home. Home is here. There. It's different than there, where you're coming from. But yeah, beds here are not the same size. So when I moved here, I brought all of my beautiful bedding that I loved so much, and I was going to feel so cozy in all my like stuff that was familiar, and then none of it fit the beds, and then I had to buy it all new. So unless you're bringing your bed, leave your bedding. Not worth it. You can bring your towels. That's normal. That's fine. Bring your towels, but bedding, just unless you're bringing your bed, you're not going to be able to use it. And then the last thing I want to mention that is not really worth it, in my opinion, to bring with you, unless you have a different circumstance. But you know what? Furniture, it's a tricky one, because especially if you're coming from the States or from Canada, more than likely your furniture is going to be bigger and bulkier than stuff that they sell here. Why is that? Because we have more space. Our homes are generally bigger in the States and in Canada. They're like larger places, so you have larger furniture to fit that stuff. I can only imagine if I brought over our sofa from the States and I brought it here, not only would it not have even fit into my apartment, first apartment, but I mean, come on, like I don't even think that in this house, which is like, you know, the nicest one we've had so far, I don't even think that that would even fit in this house. So unless you know the dimensions of the place that you are moving to, and unless you know for sure that this coffee table and this dining table and this thing is going to fit and fit in like a way that makes sense, you know, not just like that you're going to feel like just crowded by your furniture, leave it. You know, get some IKEA stuff. The design is a little bit different. It's sleeker, it's smaller, but it's meant to work with the type of homes that people have here, with the size of apartments and houses and things. So if you want to bring your furniture and you know that your new apartment or house is going to fit it, great, you know, but if you're not sure, it might not be worth it, because then you're going to be faced with having to get rid of it, and maybe you could have stored it wherever you come from for a period of years, or, you know, sold it or whatever, and not just been stuck with it. So that is my advice to you. Leave your furniture. All right, you guys, that completes this video. That is 10 things that I mentioned, which is seven that you should bring and 3 that you shouldn't. If you are moving to the Netherlands, that's my advice. Definitely, there are certainly things and opinions will differ on this, but from my perspective, this is solid advice, and I hope that it's useful to you. Please, if you like this video, if you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful, give this video a thumbs up. That way YouTube knows to recommend it to other people. And if you want to contribute to the conversation, please do so by leaving a comment below. That's really, really helpful to everyone. And click the subscribe button if you haven't already. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming over. I'm really grateful for any time that you spent with me today. I know your time is precious, and I know that there's loads and loads of videos on YouTube that you could be watching. So the fact that you are watching mine means the world to me. I'm very grateful, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next one. Bye.